What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Reptile Rustle Up. I am Security Monitor Lizard, and we are going to be making a one pot. This is going to be a super simple meal. Whether you are, just tired from the day, or you got kids at home and you just need to get a meal straight out to them, get them fed. Trust me, you are gonna want to make this food. It's so simple. It takes less than like 15 minutes to make. And honestly, I can't thank Mango Jones enough because, well, when I broke my little lizard paw, I was giving myself the stranger trying to, figure out how to actually make some food, and she gave me this recipe. So, hey, I'm gonna share it with you guys. It's really easy. So here's the ingredients you're gonna need. Too easy. You're gonna need a can of beans, either pinto or black beans. You're gonna want a half a can of corn, whole kernel corn. It's actually just, you can get the little small cans. Those work best. You don't want to put too much corn in there because otherwise it just overwhelms the flavor. Today we're gonna be using the chorizo. We're just gonna be using this chorizo taco seasoning. You can use whatever seasonings you like. If you want to go to the spice rack, that's on you. Don't worry about it. That's typically what I use, but we're going to be using the chorizo seasoning today. You use regular taco seasoning. It works out just as well. You're going to want a little bit of ginger, of course, because we're cooking with beef. And you're going to want one of these. A packet of Knorr, Lipton, whatever you want to call it. Today we're going to be using Spanish rice. I do have some taco rice and some Mexican rice and stuff like that. It works out the same way. You just have to cook it to the specifications on the back. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. Don't you worry. I'm going to show you how to do it. So what we've got in our pot is about a pound and a half ground beef. And we're going to just heat it up. Just get it good, and I'm going to show you exactly where to stop cooking it. Now, too easy. We got our hot plate rolling, and let's get cooking. So we got our meat cooking. You don't want to have it all the way up because obviously we're still prepping and everything like that. But one thing you want to do is you want to make sure that when you use the beans, whether they're black beans or pinto beans, you want to make sure that you actually drain them. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of particulate, and it gives it a little bit of a chalky flavor. It's not or chalky texture. It's not very appetizing. You want to make sure that you can pour some water in there and then drain it out, and it comes out mostly clear. It doesn't have to be perfectly clear. So we're not looking for perfection. And then, again, this is only going to take a few minutes of your time, regardless. So we'll cut up our serranos. And put these off to the side once they're done. Now this is going to be a little spicy. If you're cooking for your kids, obviously you don't want to be, you may not want to make it so spicy. But if you're cooking for your kids, trust me, this is going to blow their minds. They are going to have a blast making these tacos. Woo. Almost cut myself there. So I'm cutting these up. I'm just going to kind of haphazardly doing it. Turn the heat down so that the meat will cook. And again, I leave the seeds in because, well, mama ain't raised no bitch. So we're just going to kind of chop-a-rooney these things up. And this is fine. We're not cooking burgers, so we don't have to keep it all together. You can have some chunks in there. If you want them to be chunky, that's fine. Don't worry about it. If you don't want the serranos, if you don't want any extra peppers in there, don't worry about it. You don't have to put them in there. You can cut down basically as much as you want in this. But we'll put these in once the meat's ready. And don't worry, I'll clean up under the hot plate once we get to it. So we're going to turn the heat up a little bit, grab our spoon, we're going to start moving our meat around. Now you want to kind of break it up. I already broke it up a little bit. Same thing with the burgers. If you haven't seen that, go ahead, check out that video. So you want the meat to be separated so that it takes in a lot more of that flavor. We're going to turn our heat off. All right. Now, I typically don't use a turkey baster or anything. Here's what I do. I'll move all of the meat to one side. All right. We got most of our meat on one side. And then I'll just take a paper towel and I'll soak up as much of that fat and grease as possible. Now, the reason you don't want it to be all the way cooked, again, is because it's going to be overcooked, but you want that fat and oil that's going to be coming off of the meat instead of using vegetable oil or margarine or butter or anything like that. So we can take that off. Right? And then into the trash it goes. So we've still got, as you can see, we've still got a decent amount of oil in there, still moving around. Our meat isn't all the way cooked through, so let's add everything else. So right now we need the, I don't know where my, there's my taco seasoning. We need the taco seasoning. It'll open. So we're gonna add this in there. Oh! Don't add the whole package. We want our beans, obviously. We want half of this can of corn. So if you can get the small cans of corn, get the small cans of corn. You don't want a full can of corn in there. Trust me, it's gonna make it a whole hell of a lot worse. And then we'll add in our serranos. Turn our heat up. Add in all this gobbledygook. Right in there. That can go in there. And of course, just a dash of ginger. Should have added that a little bit prior to this, but it'll be okay. So we're gonna turn this up. Now the package calls for 2 cups of water. So we're gonna add in 2 cups of water. And that's basically for the rice. And then basically just stir it around. Make sure you got a good mixture. Make sure everything's homogeneous, diversified. And we're about 7 minutes away from having a nice meal. Heat's up. Bring it back to a boil and let it simmer for about 7 minutes. All right, everything's done. We've got all of our, well, it looks like slop, but trust me, it's about to be really good, especially when it goes into this nice toasted tortilla. And you know it's toasty because, well, whatever's under the burner that fell in there is burning. Now, what you want to do when you toast your tortillas, you can use corn tortillas or flour tortillas, it doesn't really matter. But what you want to do is you want to make sure you move them around, and then you get that nice little crispiness right on these little bubbles here. Those little bubbles, those little brown marks, that's where you want the crispiness. You don't want it to be crispy all around. It's just not going to be the best for you. And you can flip it over constantly. Don't worry. If it starts to like puff up and separate, then you need to take it off. But don't worry about getting it nice and crispy. I'll show you exactly what the sound should be when you have a nice, good, crispy toasted tortilla. And if you don't know, well then, welcome to the show. Oh yeah, oh that's getting good. So we're gonna toast it. We're almost there. So we're gonna take this side, we're gonna flip it over one more time, and then we're just gonna drop it into that plate. And why are we gonna flip it over one more time? Don't worry, I'll show you. There we go. Plop it in there, turn off our heat. And the reason is we want our cheese, what we have left of it, to go right on top of there. Woo. That way the cheese stays on the hot surface, stays on the hot side, the hottest side. But we're not done. Now, I don't have any shredded lettuce or anything. But we can still add this in here. God damn it, there's a wasp in here. And then, last but not least, a little bit of salsa. This is, ooh, a little too much. Delish. Wipe our hands off. Last thing we have to do, we gotta try it. All right, here we are. And here's our taco. We gotta try it. Falling apart a little bit. That's okay. Still really good. And the greatest thing about these one pots is they keep. I mean, you can just throw it in a bowl, throw it in a container, take it to work, take it for lunch. There's a wasp in my house, and it's terrifying me. So I'm gonna finish this taco, kill that wasp, and then try not to freak out too much. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, sharing the video, and hopefully you try the recipe. Let me know how it turns out for you. Nice and spicy.